Well, hey, everybody. Welcome. We got background music.
Hello.
Well, hey. We are so glad you all are with us for our third annual Roar Marketing Conference 2023. Woo! Yes. This is our third year for this conference, and each time we are becoming more and more strategic in the way that we approach our guests, our speakers, and the content that will be taught.
Yeah, Roar's unique because it's not just a bunch of topics. Am I echoing?
Just a little bit.
Okay, this is weird. All right, well, it's still unique. Even my echo is unique, right? I mean, it's technology. You just go with it. So Roar's unique because it's not just a bunch of topics to give you information, but we actually strategically designed this conference to take you on a journey to move the needle in your marketing. We started today in the pre-conference. It was amazing. We had so much fun. So much fun with all of you. If you were part of the pre-conference, give a shout out. Tell us something you learned so that everyone can know what we did there. So the pre-conference, we started with this evaluation of our platform and how to create content that we need in our marketing strategy. And during the next 2 days, we are going to build upon that concept. And you are going to be part of some amazing hands-on workshops that don't just give you information, but actually transform what you are doing or perhaps what you need to be doing. And you can be part of that. We'll put the link in the chat if you haven't signed up for that level yet. You can do that and be part of the deluxe or the premiere so that you can have that content. Also, some of you, as you saw when we were putting up the comments, you see that it says Facebook user. That's because you haven't given StreamYard permission to use your Facebook profile and show us your name. So all you have to do is just click the link above this video and it'll give StreamYard access to that. Perhaps there's one in the chat. I'm not really sure, but for sure there is one right above the video. Just give it a click and you can be a part. There it is. Teresa just popped it in there. So Teresa is one of our hosts for tonight. And so if you have any questions, she's going to be able to help you in the chat, be able to navigate whatever it is you have.
So you all may be noticing that we are not all in the same place this year. For the last couple of years, whether it's been our spring virtual conference, she writes for him greater things. Now I am echoing. Not sure why. But
it's just technology. It's
keep going. All right. I'll just keep rolling.
It's not bad.
Okay. So the reason we're not all in the same place, why don't you guys mute yourselves and let's see if that fixes it. Okay, so there we go. Who knows why? Anyway, normally we're all in the same room. We're all in front of the same camera. We are like all here in Washington State doing the hosting thing and managing all the elements of this conference. Well, you know, sometimes God just works things out somehow. This was one of those weird ones because Shelly, a week and a half ago, had emergency surgery, so she's not allowed to travel. So she was our first one down and out. Then Carol, the day before she was ready to fly here, Tuesday of this week, her dear hubby slipped on coffee and shattered his kneecap. So she did not feel like she could just be at peace, just leaving him at home and coming to Washington. So God has us in 3 different places this year, which is completely out of our comfort zone. We love being together. We love pouring into you together, but God is not allowing that this year. And my first thought was, he is going to be strong in our weakness. And that is exactly what he has been so far. And Heather was able to drive from Vegas over to Arizona to help Carol right there, kind of have the hub be in Arizona. Shelley is in Florida, and I am in Washington. So, you know, if anything is not perfect, we have a really good reason why, because this is totally out of our comfort zone. But God is good, and we are just going to deliver such amazing content to you that you won't even notice if we mess something up, like the echoing in the background. All right, so let me start with our introductions. I am going to introduce Miss Shelley, who has been on the Redemption Press team for almost 4 years. And it has been an absolute delight to work with her. She brought with her some incredible gifts of HR discernment. In fact, we don't even hire anybody onto the Redemption Press team without her thumbs up, because she just has the most amazing gift of being able to tell if someone is really going to fit in and be a servant of all. And she also brought with her just incredible gifts of leadership and all things marketing and digital advertising. But what we love about Shelley is her nickname, which is Miss Bullet, which came from her alleged killer volleyball arm or serve. That's a serve, right? But now, instead of playing volleyball, she makes fun of other people who do that or any kind of physical workout. When I think of her sense of humor, I think of a sign that belongs on her wall that says, "When I feel the urge to exercise, I lay down until it goes away." And if you don't know what I'm talking about right there, you need to follow her on Facebook, because she posts the most hilarious posts poking fun at people who exercise. So make sure you follow her and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Well, that was an amazing introduction. Thank you for that. And listen, please don't take offense. I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of exercise. I promise. All right. Well, I have the privilege of introducing our yellow girl, Carol Tetzloff. She is affectionately known as Yellow Girl. And Carol is the creative genius and content creator behind all our conferences, all of our events, all the things. I call her, she's an anomaly. Her capacity to handle things and to accomplish tasks. And y'all, I like to exaggerate sometimes, but I'm not exaggerating when I say this, that something, because I could probably do a lot of what she does, but it would take me like 8 hours. And her, it's like 22 minutes and she's done. So we just let her do all the things. So she is just an amazing creative genius behind everything that we do, pretty much on the content creation and all of the events and all those things. And she and her husband, Mr. Yellow Girl, are part of the RP ownership team, Redemption Press ownership team. And I have to say, she really is one of the most creative, multi-talented, and when I say multi, I mean multi-talented, multifaceted women that I know personally. She is also an award-winning author, a powerful speaker and teacher, and writing coach, or an author coach extraordinaire. Listen, y'all, if y'all ever have the opportunity to be coached by Carol, whether it's one-on-one or group, I'm not kidding you, run, do not walk for that opportunity. And every time I say that, like her email lights up, but I'm like, seriously, I've watched her in action and she is over the top, and we are just absolutely thrilled and privileged to be able to partner with her and to do all the things with her. So there you go.
And Shelley, by the way, is also on the ownership team. I failed to include that in her bio.
All right.
Yes.
Well, Shelley, thank you. You are very gracious. And I am just so thankful that I get to serve alongside both Athena and Shelley as we just really, spearhead what is happening at Redemption Press and all the amazing things we get to do together. But I get to introduce to you Athena Dean Holt, who has become one of my dearest friends. She is an author of many books. Her latest ones are, she did a redo of her memoir, Full Circle. She has a book with her husband called Together for a Purpose. And then she also did another one that she had done a while ago called Empty at the Top. She is a speaker and she is the founder of Redemption Press. In fact, over 30 years ago, about 36 years ago, Athena really came on the scene and founded what we know as the Christian indie market, where we can publish our books and do it with excellence, so that authors all over can really get their story out. And she has such a passion for that. The other thing that I love about Athena is that she has this beautiful way of living her life with integrity. Athena does everything through the lens of scripture and how God is calling her to move and act. And if something is going wrong in some type of author work, she always makes sure that it gets to be done right and we make it right. And I love that about her because life is hard, but she really does walk alongside our authors and give them exactly what she needs. Her story is incredible. If you haven't heard Athena's story, you need to, first of all, just get her book Full Circle. You'll read it in a night because you can't put it down. But God has done some transformational things in her life and she lives them out every day. And she has such a passion for truth, which I love. Some of the things that you will find her doing is out on the boat with her hubby when it's not raining in Seattle. So that's like, 6 days a year, maybe? Yep. And then she also, they have an RV and they travel and they just take little breaks there. She's just so much fun. And I am so glad if you don't know Athena, you want to get to know her. So Athena, we love you. Thank you for all that you do for authors, for all that you've done for me and Shelley, and the opportunity that we have to walk alongside you on this journey. It is a blessing indeed.
Well, thank you. You almost made me get all weepy, but I held it back and held myself together. Any of you who have been in conferences with me before know that I tend to.
Now, we don't really have a nickname for you. I mean, I kind of do, but I really can't say it on the stage.
It should be weepy.
So we're going to have to think of that. If you can think of a good nickname for Athena, put it in the chat. We'll vote, Shelley and I, and then we'll kind of decide what her nickname should be.
Great idea.
All right. Well, I will allow you to do that, but I get final say on whether you actually use whatever you vote on.
We'll see.
I reserve the right to edit. Okay. So everybody, our theme verse this year, well, ever since we started the Roar Marketing Conference, our theme verse has been Proverbs 28. Verse 1b. So it's the second half of verse 1. And it says, the righteous are bold as lions. And that is our prayer for you, that you will walk away from this conference being bold as a lion.
Yes. Yeah, as we embrace the hustle of marketing, and it can be quite overwhelming. But as we really talk about it in the next 3 days, we're going to see it with a different lens, one that takes the striving and the angst away and leaves us with a heavenly perspective, one that turns the hectic hustle into a holy hustle.
That's so good. And as we gather these next 3 days, it's our prayer that you will be encouraged and inspired to proclaim your message, knowing that the Spirit is guiding you. every step of the way. When you're following after him, you will not fail. Your story will not be wasted. He never wastes our pain and never wastes our sorrow. Even in the hard moments that life brings us, God will work everything together for our good and for his glory. That's a promise to those who love him. And after each session, all right, after each session, hopefully you'll stay and hang tight after each one, because we're going to have some book giveaways after each session through this conference. And on Saturday evening, though, you need to be present because we are giving away grand prizes, but you have to be present on Saturday evening at the very end of the conference in order to win grand prize.
Woo, and we're not going to tell you what it is. It must be present to win. Yes. All right. So I am going to pray us into this evening's gathering before we launch into our first guest. So Lord, thank you so much for your goodness, for your faithfulness, for just all the ways that you just, in ways that we don't always expect, you meet our needs and you gather us together and you enable us to love on each other and encourage each other and support each other in this journey of being Christian communicators. So Lord, I just pray for every person that is on here live right now, for all those who watch the replay, for all of our guests on here tonight, just for each person and the part that they're playing, whether they're just pouring into those who are watching or those who are receiving from whoever's on this digital stage. Lord, I just pray a blessing, and I pray that you would lead us and guide us tonight and give us your thoughts and your heart. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Amen. So I get to introduce our very first guest, BJ Garrett, who's going to do a 10-minute tip. She is a speaker and award-winning author. She holds an Associate of Divinity degree from BMA Theological Seminary. BJ is an admitted thrill seeker, loving whitewater rafting, roller coasters, and good old-fashioned road trips. And I have seen some amazing pictures of her road trips, let me just say. She will rarely be seen without lipstick or a pocket full of strawberry hulls, and shares the love of Jesus with passion and authenticity. Her favorite humans call her Nana or Nana, I'm not sure which, but her best friend is her hunky husband, Jay. Those are her words, not mine. And she also has 3 grown adult children. And tonight she is going to be sharing some tips on collaborating with speakers for events where you can share your message and promote your books. So my friend, thank you for being with us.
Always a pleasure. I love all things Redemption Press. That's no secret. So I love all things Redemption Press. So yes, I am talking about just how you can collaborate with other authors, other speakers to really get those book sales jacked up. I may never, ever be a New York Times bestseller, but I sell a ton of books, and I do that through events. And most of the time, well, it's both. I get booked a lot from outside sources, and I'm so thankful that the Lord has opened up those opportunities. But a lot of times I book my own events. And so I get together with some other speaker friends and some other author friends, and we put on events where we get to share our stories and talk about our books. And then we have product tables, and we just sell a ton of books. I've sold out of books at 2 different events just in this last month. It's been amazing. When people get to know you and hear you and see you and realize that that you're a real person and that you have this book that you've written, they want to be a part of that. They want to read it. They want you to sign their books. I'll never forget the first time somebody asked me to sign their book. I was like, you want me to sign your book? Like, that was so weird to me because I just didn't think they would want my autograph for whatever reason. But I love personalizing those books and making it special for whoever they're buying it for. The other options, I mean, think about like going to libraries, especially like public libraries in small towns and big towns. They love to have special events. And so if you can get them to want to host a book signing event where you can come and kind of do a meet and greet, it's very low cost. And because you have the venue, it's free. So you can do that. I see people all the time doing library book signings, coffee shops. Again, they're kind of low key, smaller venues, but you can get it together with a couple of other friends and have these awesome events where you get to just, again, meet and greet these people, and they get to know who you are. They get to see that you're a real person, and then they want to buy your book. And so again, I may never be a New York Times best-selling author, but I sell a bunch of books. Another way to do that is like any kind of holiday event. And really, really, it's like you think about like furniture. There's the red flags, the Memorial Day sale, the sales. You could do basically the same thing with a book event or with a speaker event. Literally tag on to any holiday within that, couple of weeks time, and you wham bam, you have a theme for an event, and it can just really, really work. Recently, a good friend of mine, we do a lot of ministry together, Denise Bowens, and we planned this huge Unashamed event in Galveston, Texas. It was packed full of women. A lot of the women had never heard us speak before because we had women, but they were bringing other people. And so again, we just sold a ton of books. It's not always about the sale. I'm not saying that, but we've written these books because we want people to read them. We want people to know who we are. And it doesn't really matter what genre your book is. Excuse me. I've heard people say, but well, that's okay. It doesn't have to be a memoir. If you've written children's books, most of the women in these women's conferences are mothers or grandmothers. It doesn't have to be a memoir book. If it's a Christian romance or even a thriller, it's fascinating when people get to meet the authors of the books and get to know who they are. So hopefully that will help. I know that's just a few little tips in a few minutes, but yes, throw some events together, get some friends. You don't have to be extreme. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Just find a place, plan an event, share your story, and get people to know that you have this book and they will want to buy it. Thank you so much. It is an honor always to be part of Redemption Press.
Well, I love that, BJ. I would love to hear and have everybody else hear kind of the two extremes. Like, what is the smallest event that you've kind of put together and went and spoke at with another author or two or speaker? And then what is the biggest? I don't know if it was the Unashamed in Galveston or a different one, but I would just love to hear the extremes on that.
Yeah, so probably the small extreme would be about 10 people, and it was very small, but it was also a success because and ironically, sometimes you can sell more in the really small events because it's very intimate and they can talk to you more. They really get to know who you are more. And then a lot of times those people that come to those really small events buy a bunch of copies. So that's kind of what happened with me on my really extreme small event. It was right before the holidays last year. And so, like all 10 ladies bought multiple copies. And then they also, because I got to be a part of the compilation of the first She Writes for Him book. And so they don't just buy just my book, but they also buy the copies of the books that I'm just a small piece of. And so that's really fun also. The extreme event, probably I did this event called Cowgirls in Tyler, Texas, and it is a huge it's called Cowgirls Get Together, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of ladies there, and again, they just flock to they love to shop. They come knowing there's going to be people there to buy things from. They're prepared for months, and they promote all of the speakers and authors there for months, the other vendors, and so they just flock to your table and want to buy all of your things.
Wow, I love that. Carol,
Wow.
you got a question?
Yeah, so BJ, can you tell everyone how you began getting connected with other speakers so that you can do the event? And I know there's one specific event that really brought you together. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So it all really began for me at Christian Communicators. When I first went in 2019, that's where I met Redemption Press. That's where I met a key group of amazing speakers and authors. And really, most of the events that I do in some way have some tie to one of those Christian Communicators friends that I've made, one of those networking friends. I've been several years now in a row, and every year I make new connections. And even if we don't do events together, we recommend each other, because we kind of get to know each other and we hear each other speak. And so we have this awesome network where we just get to build from that every single year. It's amazing. My favorite conference of the year.
For sure. Yeah. And so we partner with Christian Communicators. You can go to we have their link in the back of the program. So you can, go on their website, christiancommunicatorsconference.com. They are phenomenal. And I love how they do connect other communicators together that can partner and share the message of the gospel in ways that we could not do it by ourselves.
Yeah, we're all on the same team. And when you get this group together, a big thing that they say all the time, and I know Redemption Press believes this too, because you're a part of them, is it's all about collaboration, not competition. And so we celebrate each other's wins, we mourn each other's losses, and we're there to lift each other up and encourage each other and to really celebrate when there's something big going on. It's very rare that I go to any event and there's not at least one Christian Communicator sister in the audience there to support me.
And I'll tell you one other thing about Christian Communicator, which I just think is worth its weight in gold, is the best way for an author to sell books is by speaking. I mean, it just is, because people when they meet the author, they don't care what you've written. It is a unique thing to meet an author and want to buy their book and share it with others and buy it as gifts and all of that. So we have a lot of Redemption Press authors that go to the Christian Communicators Conference the end of July in Dallas and actually invest in their craft of learning how to be a speaker. And I'll tell you what, one of the best investments I know I've ever made, and many of my friends in Redemption Press have done the same thing. And it's just such a valuable event, very small, intimate event. And so I can't speak too high about that event.
For sure. So good. Well, BJ, thank you so much for being with us and sharing with the Roar audience. BJ is going to be on the Connect group tomorrow morning on Zoom, so you get to see her there. So make sure that you pop in and say hi to her on Zoom. And yeah.
We love you, BJ.
We love you, BJ. Okay. So I get to now introduce a dear friend of mine. Okay. This person that I'm going to introduce to you is a marketing genius. Now, she probably wouldn't say that of herself, but she is really someone that I follow and I watch, and I'm like, wow, how does she do all of the marketing things? So this is someone that you're going to want to follow on Instagram so that you can see how to market and how to do it in a way that gives God all the glory. So let me give her a proper introduction. A frequent speaker at women's retreats, large conferences, or at her own kitchen table, Erica loves to bring scriptural truth and see lives transform. She'll often quip, Jesus saved me from my sins, but his word saves me from myself. So good. Erica also serves on Proverbs 31 Ministries. She is on the speaker team for Aspire Women's events that are all across the nation. An award-winning author with Moody Publishers, her release, Letting God Be Enough, reminds women that self-reliance leads to self-doubt. But when we place our lives in the hand of God, there is nothing that he can't do. You can find out more about her on ericawiggenhorn.com. You can see her almost every day, as I said, on Instagram, where she does some shenanigans. You're going to see a little bit of that during her talk tonight. And her best friend, she lives in Arizona with her best friend, Jonathan. And there are 4 children, 2 of which are human and the other are furry and adorable. So would you please welcome my friend Erica to the stage?
Hey,
hello, my friend.
Hi.
So good to see you. We are so looking forward to what you have to share tonight.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. So let's just jump right into it, everybody. How many of you, when you think of marketing or you think about promoting your book, you're like, yuck, salesy, slimy, yucky. I don't like talking about it. I don't like promoting myself. Anybody out there, just give me a hand raised if you can relate to that. That is exactly how I feel about marketing a lot until I made this mindset shift. Yes, somebody said it feels spammy to promote myself. Thank you. Okay, you girls are with me. I love it. So tonight we're going to talk about what's so holy about this hustle. Do you remember that old adage that says nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care? You all know that, right? Why is it that we always can remember that adage? Because it's true, right? We have all been in that situation where we feel like somebody is trying to sell us something, trying to back us in a corner, manipulate us, and it just feels yucky. Right? You're like, you don't really care about me as a person. You're not trying to help me. You're just trying to sell me something or get me to do something that inside I'm thinking, I don't really want to do that. So what do we do? What do we do as authors or speakers so we are not salesy, spammy, yucky, and self-promoting? Because the reality is that we all know that the real life transformation happens when people buy our book and read it. That's why we wrote it, right? You wrote it because you care about people and you want to help them. So how do we take our desire to help people and take our tools that we have, our products, and we bring them together in a good marketing plan that does people good? That's what we're going to look at tonight. And we're actually going to look at some concrete examples of how some big brand advertisers do this. And we're also going to look at some examples of how you and I can do it so simply, just with our phones, shooting really quick content and letting people know that we care. So are you ready to get started? Give me a in the comments if you are ready to get started on looking at how to do this as a content creator and an author and a speaker. But before we do that, before we get all the way in this thing, I want to share something important with you. So pay attention here, okay? Redemption Press has put together an incredible event here for all of us. For me, I mean, I get to watch all of the other incredible presenters that are coming after me that I get to learn from that are just absolute brilliant authors and speakers, like Edie Melson and Shannon Popkin and Christina Custodio, and I could go on and on. But they have even allowed some of us to come to this completely for free. That is how dedicated they are to helping us get the message out about our books. And so I want to do something to really bless them and hopefully also bless you. Okay, so you ready? This is what we're going to do. At some point during the next 20 minutes, as I walk you through what's so holy about this hustle, I want you to take a screenshot or snap a picture with your phone of your laptop, whatever tech level you're at, when there is something that I mention that is a takeaway for you, or something you're like, I don't want to forget that. I want to remember that. And when that happens, I want you to, at some point, take that and I want you to post it on social media. And I want you to tag Redemption Press in it. And I want you to tag me in it, either just my name, Erica Wiggenhorn on Instagram, or Erica Wiggenhorn, author and speaker on Facebook. And I will select 2 of you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific time. I will select 2 of you that post and tag Redemption Press and me so I can find it, to win a free coaching call for 30 minutes to help you come up with a 30-day social media plan that is holy and not all hectic hustle. So keep that in the back of your mind as you're listening. But let's go. Let's dive in. Okay. So here we go. First slide is up. A ministry mindset. Okay. This is the foundation, the absolute foundation to any marketing that you are going to do. Okay. The number one thing that you are trying to do in marketing is connection. You need to connect with your audience. Now, for your email subscribers, you want to connect with them with valuable information. They are signing up to get an email from you every week, every month, every quarter, whatever it is, because they feel that the information that you give them in that email is valuable. They want to feel connected to you. They want to know what you're doing, what you're up to, and they feel as though what you share there is valuable information. And that is key for your email subscribers. But for your social media followers, you also connection. It's all about connection, but it's more about entertainment. It's not that you're not ever sharing valuable information, but people don't go on Instagram to do research as much as they go on Instagram or Facebook to connect with other people virtually and to be entertained. And so we have to be thinking about, what are we doing to do something memorable and engaging on our social media platforms that is entertaining, that people like watching. And here's what I'm going to tell you people don't like watching. They don't like watching 35 posts about you or me living our best life as an author, traipsing all over the place, doing something that they maybe dream about doing but are not able to do, or something that they can't even relate to doing. We are not going to connect with people when everything on our social media is about something that they cannot even fathom doing themselves. That creates a disconnection, and that is not what we want to do if we want to have a ministry mindset. So let's talk about entertainment. Okay, we're going to pull up a reel from my Instagram to show you how I connected with my audience in a funny and memorable way. So, Heather, can you pull up that first video? Okay, there you go. So what am I showing you? I'm showing I am a work in progress, right? I fall down and I get up just like everybody else out there. I am not an expert because I have my life all put together and I'm brilliant and I'm perfect. I can just share a few things I've learned the hard way from experience. Okay. That's very connectable and relatable. And that doesn't mean that you cannot tie it into your brand. Why did I call it My Really Unexplainable Life? Well, because I have 3 Bible studies that have the word unexplainable in the title. It's branded, it connects to my books, but what am I really trying to connect with? I'm trying to connect with my audience. I am inviting people into connection, okay? I'm allowing people to see the reality of who I actually am. You know, one of the biggest compliments that I got the other day was a friend of mine. He's a brilliant content creator. He texted me the other day. He had watched a reel that I had put on Instagram, and he said, you know what I love about you, Erica? You are one of the few people I know that what you put out on social media is actually you. There's not this disconnect between, you know, Instagram Erica and real life Erica. And I love that about you. And for me, that was like the highest praise, because I don't want anybody to ever meet me and go, wow, she's like nothing like she was, like I thought she would be based on her Instagram. I want people to look on my Instagram and my Facebook and feel connected to me, feel like they know me and they understand who I really am. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't ever use your social media for social proof about your book. You know, if you win an award, invite people to celebrate with you. If you are going somewhere to speak, let people know you're going to be there. I'm not saying everything on your social needs to be silly or funny or whatever. So please don't hear that. What I am saying is that you want to approach every single post that you put on there as an opportunity for people to connect with you over topics that you write and speak about, but things that they can relate to in their everyday life. Now, I'm not going to show them all to you, but I will tell you, if you go to my Instagram, you will see how I talk about my books. I talk about content in my books while I'm in the middle of doing something, everyday life things that 98% of women can relate to doing because it's part of their life too. So you can go check it out on my Instagram. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a look at a big brand company and how they connected with their consumers, their audience, their people in a viral ad, and how they never once mentioned their product. So Heather, can you cue up that next video for me?
I'm a forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm going to ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm going to ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here we are. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, that's...
She looks closed off and fatter, sadder too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
Okay. Did they mention one single product that they sell? No. What did they say? They said to all of us that watched that, we see your beauty and we want you to see your beauty too. That was all they said. And now 95% of us are like, I'm only going to buy Dove soap because I see my beauty, right? No, probably not. But here's the thing. What if you and I showed up into our social media spaces and our whole mindset was, I am here to help you see your beauty, to help you see your value, to remind you that you are loved by a God who, when he looks at you, he sees a masterpiece. What if that was our mindset when we showed up into our social media spaces? How would that change the way we approach the content that we choose to post? It would change everything, wouldn't it? Here's something I want you to say out loud with me. I want you to say it out loud with me in your living room, in your office, wherever you are watching this, because I want you to remember this, okay? I am not selling a book. Say it out loud. I am not selling a book. I am meeting a need, and my words are the tools. Your book are the tools, the words that God will use to help change somebody's life. Okay? So let's just talk about how do we do that then? Okay, because not all of us are going to go hire a forensic artist and do a multi-million-dollar B-roll advertisement, right? But what we can do is we can start with that ministry mindset that I am showing up here to meet a need and to remind you of something that is important. So for Dove, it was to remind women that they're beautiful. What is the message of your book? What are you reminding people? What are you helping people overcome? What are you teaching people to know or believe about God, about themselves? What is the need that you're meeting? You start there and you build all of your content off of that need. Personally, for me, my need that I'm meeting is I want women to know that the Bible can change their life. It can change everything, right? And so I'm going to show up in everyday situations, in everyday life, in your everyday world, and I'm going to talk about Jesus and I'm going to talk about God because I want women to see their relationship with Jesus in their everyday life. And so what is your need? What are you trying to help people with? You start with that. And then you couple it with your personality. Let me give you an example. Okay. I showed you me being kind of funny and silly. Okay, well, because that's part of my personality, because I want people to know that being in God's word is not boring. The Bible is not boring. And we don't have to be these like super spiritual, serious people if we're going to be serious about the Bible. And so I bring humor into it because that's my personality. But that's not everybody's personality. For example, Jennifer Dukesley, okay, she is a storyteller. And her personality is to tell beautiful, heartwarming, Hallmark style stories. And so she posts photos from her farm and she tells stories that relate to her everyday life as a farmer's wife. And they're beautiful stories and they tie back to her book about growing slow. And she lets us know how they fit in with her message of her book and with everyday life, and they're heartwarming. My friend Mary Morantz has a memoir called Dirt, and she shares from the vibe of an expert because she has drastically overcome some massive hurdles in her life. And so she's not an expert in the sense that she's brilliant, even though she is brilliant, but that's not the vibe that she puts out on social media. The vibe that she puts out on social media is, I'm an expert about this topic of overcoming and achieving because I've lived it. I literally grew up in a dirt shack in West Virginia, and I have been able to go to an Ivy League college and get my law degree. So she approaches her social media more from the vibe of, I'm an expert and I want to help you be an expert too. So what is your personality? What is your vibe? My personality and vibe is relational. If you met me in Starbucks in the line, I would want you to, come up to me and be like, hey, I heard you at the Roar conference, or I read your book, and I love you. And you know what? Can we be friends? And I would say, I'd give you a huge hug. And I'd say, tell me your story. I want to know you. But what is your vibe? Think about that. So you've got your ministry mindset, and then you've got kind of your vibe. So your ministry mindset, your need that you're meeting, and then your personal vibe. Let's take a look at the personal vibe that this big brand advertiser wanted to share with their product. Heather, can you cue the next video? Perfect.
This building built? It's old, but it has big windows and lots of light. I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Are you breaking up with me?
Slow and steady.
Trans, the official sudden Vantis spectacles. This is Maddie.
I love this commercial so much because I'm a total dog lover. Now, if you're a cat person, I don't know, maybe it didn't vibe with you. But what is the vibe that Chevrolet was trying to convey here? Next slide, Heather. Pull it up. They're dependable, right? They're like your lovable golden retriever, your very best friend, always there when you need it. They're dependable. They're unconditional, right? Maddie, her little Maddie puppy, was by her side through thick and thin, never let her down. So that's how your Chevy's going to be, right? It's going to be unconditional. And then it was memorable, right? It was memorable because it shared with us shared experiences that we can all relate to. We can relate to birthday parties and graduations and learning to drive and sending people off to college and wedding days. All of these experiences are shared human experiences that we all can understand. And so Chevy is connecting with us in our everyday life and what matters to us most. And they're saying, we get you. We get you. We understand what matters most to you. And we are here for you in that. And if people scroll through our social media and they feel that we get them, we understand what is important to them, and we're here for them, and we're going to be dependable, and we're going to be reliable, and we're going to connect with them in their everyday lives, they are going to want to connect with us. And they're going to want to connect with us when we speak at events, and they're going to want to connect with us when we tell them about a book that we've written that they can take home and read and connect with us in an even deeper level. So I want to encourage you to just think about your ministry mindset. What are you trying? How are you trying to help people? What is the felt need? What is the thing that you're trying to show up and get them to know, believe, and understand? Start with that. What is your personality or vibe that you want to convey that fits who you are? Don't try to be something you're not. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Be you, because God made you the way he made you, because he has people who can connect with you just the way you are. So be yourself, and then sit down and figure out how to show up in a space to remind people that they are important and that you see them and that you care about them and that you are here for them. So that's all I got for you. God bless you. Thank you for letting me be here. And again, don't forget, post your favorite moment from this session, tag Redemption Press, tag me, and I will pick 2 of you and we will work together to craft a 30-day social media plan. God bless.
So good. My goodness. Okay. So Erica, you are a marketing genius. You just are. But what we want to know is, what was the most challenging part of marketing when you first started out?
Yeah. So the most challenging part of marketing for me when I first started out is that I felt like I had to keep communicating information. I kept feeling like I had to say, hey, this is my Bible study, An Unexplainable Life, and this is what it's about, and this is what it's going to teach you. And everything that I was trying to do on social media was all information driven. And I couldn't understand why that wasn't resonating with people. While they were like, what they were hearing was wah, 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 right? And so that was my biggest challenge, is I had to make the connection that on the social media platform, especially, what people want is just to connect with me in their everyday life and not be fed a ton of information, right? Instagram's not a search engine. It's not a library. We don't go there to study something. We go there to be entertained and to connect with other people.
So for people to find you and have you be authentic, to know that they know what to expect from you as they get to know you, and they enjoy the fun and the insights and all the things that you bring. So it's just, that was the real shift then.
Yeah, it was definitely a mindset shift. And, you know, you can even make it very specific. I mean, some people might go on my Instagram and be like, wow, you do 10 different things on your Instagram. You can choose one thing. I mean, like I think about Jody Nisnik and her Instagram, Creating Space for God. And she literally does the exact same thing every single day on her Instagram. And she basically speaks like a prayer over you. And it's just her sitting there speaking a prayer. And that's literally what she does every single time she posts. And that's her Instagram. So even thinking about what could I do for 30 days that would just resonate with my audience. If you have a book on prayer, get on there and say a prayer for 30 days. If you have a book, if you have a children's book, get on there 3 times a week for 30 days with a fun activity to do with kids. If you have a recipe book or a lifestyle type book, get on there for 30 days and share 3 photographs a week of something that you teach how to do in your book. You can choose a theme and run with it. So you don't feel like you're trying to create a ton of different types of content.
So good, Erica. It's funny that when you were talking today, I actually kind of remember seeing that shift, but I didn't realize that it was done very like a strategic shift for you, where you were actually thinking like, oh, I need to shift how I'm sharing on my platforms and what I'm sharing. And as you shifted, I mean, if you go to Erica's social media, you'll see her singing in the car. You'll see her cooking eggs on the stove and emptying the dishwasher and just all the everyday things where she just comes and she just talks and encourages us every single day. But she was encouraging the other way too, but it wasn't in a practical way that we captured. And so it's just really interesting when you were talking about it, because I was like, oh yeah, in the last several years, I really have seen that shift in what you have been doing. So well done. And thank you for encouraging us and telling us about the shift, because so many of us are on social media and we post every day and we're doing all the things, but we don't really think of it in that way of really bringing the value that we need to our person that's following us and allowing them to see the value they have in God's eyes.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Powerful.
Yeah. So good. So Erica, someone put in the chat that they wanted you to explain one more time about who they need to tag and all the things to do that. Could you just do that really quick for them?
Yeah, because let me just ask you, girl. I mean, it's not too late for people to jump in tomorrow, right? So like if people post about this tonight, people can still jump in, right?
You can still jump in.
So here's what you need to do. You need to either take a screenshot of something that I said, or create a graphic, meme, whatever. If you don't know how to take a screenshot, you can, screenshot this with your phone, whatever, and put in the post your takeaway. What was something that I said or advised you to do, or implored you to remember, or compelled you to implement in your social media plan, that is your takeaway. You're like, that's the thing I want to remember. And then you post that on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you hang out. You post that and you tag the Roar Conference at Redemption Press, tag Redemption Press in it, and then also tag me, Erica Wiggenhorn. And I will go through and see who's posted, and I will choose randomly 2 of you tomorrow, and we'll set up a coaching call. I'll get your information from Redemption Press. We'll set up a coaching call, and we will come up with a 30-day social media plan specifically for you. Now, I will let you know, if you post and you tag me, but you're not following me, I probably won't see it. So make sure you're following me before you tag me, and make sure you're following Redemption Press before you tag Redemption Press. Yeah, I would love to help you. Now, a little caveat, I'm going to choose 2 of you. Please don't email me, all 600 of you, and ask me to come up with a 30-day social media plan for you. I wish I could, but there's only one of me, and I have a lot to do. But I will choose 2 of you. to win. And I'm trusting the Lord that it's the two of you that really need it the most.
And that is a very generous offer of you, Erica. Thank you so much for providing that extra added value to our attendees.
For sure. Thank you, Erica, for being with us. And I might actually enter so we can have lunch sometime. I mean, come on.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
We're traveling so much.
You'll win, and then we'll actually have an excuse to spend time together.
There we go.
There you go.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy this conference. I'll see you in the chat. God bless.
We love you,
Bye, Erica.
All right, boy, was that good or what? It's like, what did I even wear makeup for? I mean, every single one of those videos. Sheesh.
So good. So good. All right. So Athena, we're going to tell everyone how to navigate this conference, because sometimes when you're online, it's a little bit more challenging. And so we're going to give you a few tips and tricks to make sure this is a good experience for you.
Yes. So our main sessions with the keynote and the 10-minute tip and panel, and then the teaching sessions, those are all here in the Facebook group. You don't go to Zoom for that. It's just right here in the Facebook group. Or I guess you can also watch that on the Redemption Press YouTube live channel. So both of those keynote sessions, 10-minute tips, just like what we're doing tonight, that is always right here in the Facebook group or on the YouTube Redemption Press YouTube live channel. Everyone is welcome to be part of this. So you didn't have to pay anything to be. I mean, if all you did was hear Erica tonight, oh my goodness, that was worth its weight in gold. So the recordings will be in the group until midnight Eastern on Sunday night to view. So for any of you who are coming in at the entry level for free, we want to bless you. And so you have until Sunday night, midnight Eastern, to watch any of those videos that you maybe missed or you want to rewatch.
Right. And then for those of you who signed up and you paid for the deluxe or the premiere, let me just give you a little overview. You've been getting emails and so much information. I know it can be hard to decipher and go through, but you have links that are going to link you to the Connect groups that will happen one tonight, right afterwards. So those are a Zoom group. You'll have links for all the workshops because we're going to do some teaching, but all the hands-on, the things that will really help you move the needle and give you those tools are going to happen in the workshop. So be looking for that. We also gave you a booklet that has, it's like, I don't know, 80 pages long, has all kinds of notes, fill-ins, clickable links, resources from some of our presenters, resources from us. Everything is there. It's all interactive. Why do we always say it that way? I don't even know. I should probably.
New word, interactable.
New words. But it's all interactive. So you just click and it'll take you where you need to go. It's not too late to sign up. If you want to be a part of those workshops, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I already have so much content. I've only been on for an hour. What could I get if I actually really invested in this and allowed the people that are teaching to really speak into what they have for me so that I can improve my marketing plan?
Amen. Amen. So let me just say the Connect groups. So there's going to be one tonight after we finish up here. There's going to be one tomorrow morning. There's going to be another one Friday night after we finish up, and another one Saturday morning, and another one Saturday night. Well, those are so amazing because you actually connect with people who get you. And, you know, you might even find someone in one of those Connect groups that you just like, I just met my new best friend, or even someone that you just feel like they're kind of have a similar message to a similar audience. And you feel like that would be such a valuable, relationship to nurture. That is what happens at these Connect groups. And that's why it's so important. Writing is a lonely business. there's a lot of time where you're just by yourself writing, and people think you're home, eating bonbons, typing on your typewriter, living the life, living the dream. And no, it's hard and very lonely. So connect groups add so much value to your journey as a writer, especially as a believer in Christ and wanting to honor him in everything you do.
So good. Yeah. So make sure that you, if you are a deluxe member or premier member, that you come to those connect groups and just take the time to get to know some people on the screen.
Now we have 5 minutes until our next guest is up. Do we want to?
She's actually here, so we could probably start.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, I am going to introduce our next 10-minute tipper. Her name is Carol Chisholm, and she is a singer, songwriter, and author of Breaking the Shadows: How to Embrace Your True Self and Live in the Light of God's Glory. It is an inspirational biography of her struggle with alopecia, which I never even knew that was a thing until I met Carol, and how she went from self-hatred to self-acceptance by embracing God's acceptance that she is fearfully and wonderfully made. She is also a contributing author to our award-winning anthology, She Writes for Him, Black Voices of Wisdom, as well as My Bald is Beautiful, I Am Not My Hair. Carol and her husband, Kim, have 2 children and 1 grandchild, and she's going to tell us about making some noise by using a marketing strategy to promote your God-inspired message to social media platforms. Carol, welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So we're making some noise tonight, right? So good evening, everyone. I don't know about you, but I am ready to make noise. After all, that's what marketing is all about. It's about making the right kind of noise to the right group of people. It's getting a product into the face of people so they make a decision. In this case, it's a decision for Christ. We are talking about the holy hustle. If you don't do it, who will? So our content objectives tonight, we have 3 of them. The first deals with transforming our minds to enable us to look at marketing or the holy hustle from a different perspective, specifically social media marketing. Next, we want to revisit our why. Sometimes in the process of the hustle, we can lose sight of our purpose and the reason why we wrote the book. And last, the third objective is we will learn about a social media strategy that's simple and easy to implement. Are you ready? All right, so we're going to transforming our mind is the act of transforming, or transforming is the act of changing in form, appearance, or character. Romans tells us that we must renew our minds. So I'll give you a moment to read the scripture and be not conformed to the world, right? But we have to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So it is God's will that we shift the way we think about our book. But to successfully market our book, we have to change the way we think about it. The world writes books. We, as Christian writers, deliver messages. So we have a book versus the message. What is a message? A message is a communication containing some information, news, advice, request, or the like sent by a messenger. And who is better at carrying the message of God, or the message that God gave us, besides us, right? You. So we have Paul Revere is a historical town crier. And so we're like the Paul Revere. We're a town crier. He went through the streets of Lexington, Massachusetts to carry the message that the impending approach of the British are coming, right? His means of transportation were suitable for that time period and reached as many people as possible. We, as speakers or Christian writers, are the modern day Paul Revere. We are responsible for delivering our God-given message. But how? We certainly not going to employ the same transportation method used by Paul Revere. One of the best means for carrying our message to people is by utilizing social media platforms, i.e., Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now X. Social media is widespread and the quickest way to communicate our message to the world, the grassroots, or to small communities. Although it can be daunting and overwhelming,
All right. Well, Carol has disappeared. And so Athena and I are going to punt. Technology.
Right. Yes. You know, you got to be ready for plan B.
Ready for plan B.
People disappear, or equipment disappears, or wireless goes down. Woo.
So Athena, actually, let's take this moment because we've been in circumstances before where we have had to punt. And so my husband just came in and asked if the rapture happened. But I think she's coming back.
There she is.
All right. Well, we're going to continue with Carol Chisholm. So I'm going to bring her on up to the stage. What'd you do?
I don't know. And that's the problem when you don't know what you did to get where you got to.
All right, we're going to let you continue and then we will come back up and join you.
Okay, thank you. So, in other words, we have a different way or different means because horseback would not be an effective means of carrying our message. So, we want to recognize our why, which is objective 2. Why did God give us such a powerful message? Is it to promote our own agenda or advance his kingdom? Is it to magnify us or to glorify him? So in the scripture you see, it says it is, I can't see it well, it is that some who preach Christ, basically some preach Christ for gain, some preach Christ to just come against Paul, some preach Christ, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, preach Christ for Christ. So we have to realize what our message, what our why is, right? What's our why? Recognizing our why helps us to have a different mindset about utilizing the social media platforms for marketing. So our marketing strategy, objective 3, is this is the Roar Conference, right? So we're going to roar and make some noise on social media using a simple and easy to remember marketing strategy. It's called noise. So I kind of put the acronym in for N is noticeable. So in the good old days, we when we could reach people with just handing out flyers or brochures or mailing postcards, Those are antiquated as antiquated as a wagon train, right? Slow and not very cost effective. They don't have a lasting impact and they have a limited reach. Customers usually throw those things in the trash. Getting noticed is as easy as creating a username and password. So here is a tip. Be sure to use the same name across all social media platforms so as to not confuse your followers. The O in noise is online. So, in this digital age, the best way to carry our message is to build your brand or grow your community, is to have an online presence. This is the easiest and most cost effective way. Your message can go global at the click of a button, and here's why. So some of our some statistics I want to share with you. Facebook has 2.93 billion monthly active users. Widespread, right? 70% of internet users are active on at least one Meta platform. So you're going to reach more people than just like the old days, right? Sending out a flyer, passing out flyers, standing on the street corner with a bullhorn, right? Those days are over. Over 1 billion stories are posted every day across Facebook apps. So we want to be able to use and understand how to use those social media platforms. The I in noise is for intentional. You want to know your audience. Know the time your audience is online. Be tactical about the time spent marketing. Create your social media schedule and stick to it. If you're going to post 2 days out of the week, 3 days out of the week, 5 days, whatever the days, times, and the days you're going to post, be intentional about doing it. So sticking to it is very important. If you post for a few weeks and establish a presence, people who have built up interest in your message will quickly lose the interest. S from noise, the S means to be steadfast. Consistency is the key. So if we read the quote, it says daily posting will grow followers 4 times faster than posting less than once a week. Makes sense, more visible. I can't see that word very well, so I hope you guys read that. And so it makes sense that if you're not posting, it's like you're not getting the message out. So consistency is the key. The E is engagement. Fans versus community. Now, I got this from somebody else that where you really don't want fans. You want to build a community. You've heard the term fair weather fans. They won't stick around. However, a community will support you, pray for you, encourage you, and stick with you even in lean times. A community is the people God has assigned to you. It's not about the number of followers you have. It's about the engagement you have with your community. So here are some tips. You want to make a reel of a testimonial. I'm going to show you a video of a real testimonial that I did. Go live reading excerpts. I do that frequently. I'll read an excerpt from my book and then post it. And so those are just some other tips that you can use. You can create a poll. You can make a post. Just what's the last concert you attended or the last conference you attended. And then I'm going to show you the testimonial video that I created. These are from people in my community. And for the sake of time, we don't have to watch the whole thing. It's just an idea of what can be done just to create engagement and to be steadfast. So that is all that I have. I hope you got something out of making some noise. Noise.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have been watching you since your book came out and all the things that you've been doing, having book signings and going to your old church and how they just rallied around you and celebrated you. And it's just been, woo, so encouraging. And just, it was like you were born for this. Like, I'm impressed.
I don't know about born for it, but it's just a God thing. God is just giving it. He's giving it to me.
Yep.
Well, and I think too, we have to think through, everyone has different personalities. And so Carol actually attended a marketing event that we take some of our authors to called the Christian Product Expo this summer. And as she was there, so some of our authors are very reserved and they talked very quietly to the different store owners that would come and visit them and want copies of their books. But Carol, she was like, come over, let me just tell everybody at one time this story. And she would and she had just crowds of people. And so, but I love that because you are so effervescent and just really stand out in a crowd. But everyone needs to work in their own personality. You don't have to be Carol Chisholm. You don't have to be Erica Wiggenhorn. You can be you, and God's going to use you to the person who needs your message by being you to them.
Right.
Amen. And I liked what you said about being tactical. Like, it's not just by accident. You're actually prayerfully thinking about, okay, God, what do you want me to do on social media? And then doing it well.
Right. Sometimes I don't know what to do. And sometimes I get frustrated and overwhelmed in feeling like I have to do this. But then God will just give me something and it'll be one of the best posts with the most engagement. And it's like, okay, God, whatever you want me to do, whatever you want to do through this. And so again, it's about being passionate about the message that God has given you. And if we don't do it, if we don't make some noise, if we don't hustle it, it won't get done. It won't get out there. And that's what our purpose is to go into all the world. And all the world right now could be social media.
Yep. So I remember you saying, because you are also a singer, you have albums out, or do they call them that anymore?
No.
You record music and you're all over the place, but you have a whole new work that goes along with the book, right?
Well, yeah. In the back of each chapter of my book are songs. And so, and they're the original songs that I've written and the new ones getting ready to come out. So that's another strategy that God gave, that He gave it to me, because I wanted all of my songs to be produced and ready when my book was published. But of course, money prohibited me from doing that. And now it's like God just said, look, I'm going to do it this way. And I call my book the book that keeps on giving, because every time a new song comes out, it remarkets, it relaunches the book. And so God knows what He's doing. And I had to remove myself from the equation. And a lot of times when we as writers or speakers, we remove ourselves from the equation, God takes over and will do some miraculous things that we never thought were possible, places I never thought I would reach with my book because of my music. So it's been a journey. It's been fun.
So good. So Kathy is actually asking a question to you, Carol, and that is, how long are your posts?
They're not really long. I may post a picture. So I posted one today that was from a clip from a music video that I did for one of my songs. And it was actually perfect. I put music to it, and the shadow is kind of a silhouette with darkness all around me. And I just put, and it's a light that beams on me. And I just said something like, there's always light in darkness. And that's it. You can put a scripture with it and then put some hashtags on it. And that's it. Simple as it is. It doesn't have to be a long post. Short is probably better.
So when you read out of your book, how long are those? Do you just do a couple of paragraphs or?
No, I may just do a paragraph or a few sentences. It usually is no longer than a minute and a half.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long to be effective.
Right.
And
Well, Carol,
it's about building that community, making those relationships and the connection. If you just read a couple of sentences, 3 or 4 sentences, it's building a relationship, and it'll meet that need for that person that day.
Well, and the one thing that you do in your story is you're being very transparent, and you're talking about hard things. And that, I mean, people resonate with that because life is hard. And so when you're just honest about how you felt about yourself and the struggle and how God had to that was a major transformation. That's a big reason why you're seeing God just bless it, because you're being authentic. You're being real.
Yeah.
Very good. Carol, thank you so much for being with us. And we just pray God's blessing on the continued just growth of your story and of what he's doing through you to reach so many people with such an incredible message. Carol's book is called Breaking Free. And you tell me the tagline.
It's Breaking the Shadows.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Right.
I should have wrote it down.
Maybe that's the next one I'm going to write.
Hey.
It's Breaking the Shadows, how to live in the light, how to embrace your true self and live in the light of God's glory.
Yeah, it's such a good story. I read it. It's so good. So thank you for being with us and being on Roar and just all the things that you brought to the listeners tonight.
Thank you.
Amen.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Well, we get to hear more. Well, I say more about websites because this afternoon in the pre-conference, if you were part of that, we had a great discussion on really looking at our websites or lack thereof and assessing how well we're doing and trying to figure out what do we need to do next. So our next guest is Angela Driscoll, who has over 20 years of experience in branding, graphic design, and website development. And her team at Journey is amazing. They are partners with us and they do amazing things. She is the founder of Journey Websites. And Angela and her global team partner with Christian writers, speakers, and small business owners to help them share their unique stories. And Angela's professional background, this is going to surprise y'all because it did me, includes work as a firefighter. Is that not cool? Public education officer and senior advisor at Apple. She is a Mac girl through and through. Her passion for empowering others shines through her ability to translate tech speak into easy to understand language. Oh, how I love that. Angela lives in Indiana with her husband, Brian, 2 fur babies, and she can be found on the field shooting sports photography during Notre Dame football games. So, girl, it's so good to have you here.
It's so great to be here. It's always, I love being with you ladies. Absolutely.
We love you.
We got some questions for you that we think our attendees are going to want to know the answers to. So I'm going to start, and then Carol and I are going to go back and forth. What are the necessary pages to have on a website as a first-time author or speaker?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And one thing I'll like to say with it is that you don't necessarily need to have multiple pages when you're first starting. You could have a page, a landing page with multiple sections just to get you started, where you have at least some information about you and maybe about your book if you're an author, or if you're a speaker, a little bit about you speaking and a way to contact you. So that's on the very basic side, just something to at least have something up and running. But as you develop that website, it's important to have a homepage, which is your landing page. Some writers will also have it be where they have their blog would be on that page. I typically recommend having a blog being a separate page, whether you're a writer or you're a speaker, because all writers end up becoming speakers and all speakers basically become writers. And so I really recommend having a blog on the site, as well as an about page, so people can know who you are, having a media kit. So that way they can, if you are going to be on someone's podcast, if you're going, if you're working with anyone, you could send them to your media kit page where they're able to download the things that they may need in order to have you be at an event with them. Those things are really helpful. And then the other thing would maybe be like a testimonials type of page, where it's giving that social proof of who you are, or how you connect, or how you engage, what do other people say. Those are some of the things that are going to be really helpful for that first time writer or speaker.
Yeah, and you did talk about blogs. So what are the benefits of incorporating that blog into a writer or speaker website? Why would you do that?
Yeah, so your website needs to be dynamic, and that means that it is changing all the time. You shouldn't just create a website and then just be done with it. And so a blog gives you an ability to focus on making current updates on it. And the reason for that is because one is search engine optimization. So SEO, you may hear, is search engine optimization, which is how the search engines will tell the public when they're searching for something to find your website and what your website has. Well, the more content you have, the more new content you have, and the more updates and regular things that are being posted with the same type of words and things like that on there are going to help you in search engines. The other thing is your community, your engagement. You want your audience to know more about you, and you want to be up to date and current. And the way that you could do that, I shouldn't say only way, because social media is going to be very important too, but on your website, the way to do that is through having a blog and those regular updates on there.
Nice.
Wow,
So what should writers and speakers consider when choosing a website platform? Because we heard this afternoon a bunch of different ones thrown out there that different people are using, and free ones and all sorts of different things. So what's your recommendation?
So the first thing I'm going to say is to know yourself, know your tech ability, and know your time and your bandwidth, because that's going to have a lot to do with what's going to be best for you. Because there are a lot of different platforms out there that you could choose from, and some may have it where it's very easy for you to set up right away, but then it might not have the features that you need long term, and then you're having to start over and over each time that you need new features. And so I recommend really looking for the future. So looking at your current goals, where am I at right now, but where do I imagine myself being in a year, 3 or 5 years from now, and make sure that the web platform that you're going with is going to be one that is going to be able to grow with you. I personally recommend WordPress for that reason, because it is one that can grow 100% with you. It does have a bit more of a learning curve up front, and that's why people will work with us too, because we'll help them with that. But it does have that learning curve up front. So that's why I said about the technical ability of your skill set. Once you have it, though, you're able to it's able to grow and change with you, which is what's so phenomenal about it.
Good. So yeah, getting people to building our audience on our website is huge. And so once I get my website up and running, what things can I put on my website to really build that audience?
Yeah. So as someone is coming to your website, you want to make sure that they're reminded to come back to your website because you got them there the first time. And so you want to make sure there's a reason for them to come back. And so I really recommend having an email list that is integrated with your website. And in order for someone to actually sign up for that email list, it's really advisable to have some sort of lead magnet. So where they're actually getting something for free in exchange for them giving you their email address. And so you're able to have something on there where I typically will recommend to start out with a lead magnet to start and then be thinking about each season. What could be my lead magnet for each season? So that way you have a fresh new one each season where you could share it on socials and you could also have other people share it because they're then giving this free thing to other people as well. So now you're reaching your audience's audience, right? And so those types of things definitely help. The other thing with also using your audience as well is having social share buttons on your website. So if you are having, say, blog posts on there, you want to have share buttons. So if someone likes the post, they could actually share it right away to their own socials. And that's, again, directing someone right back over to your website, which is great because now they could sign up to your email list, and then the email list, you're going to own it. So you can now reach them every time there's new content, or if you have a new book coming out, you're able to engage your audience when you want to and not worry about algorithms or everything else for social.
That's really good, Angela. And so tomorrow, Sarah Cormany I think it's tomorrow. No, it's Saturday. She's going to be teaching on lead magnets. So that's going to be a phenomenal tool for our participants to engage in.
Yeah, I saw that she's teaching about that, and it's great. I mean, they're so helpful, and they're really not that hard to do once you get the hang of it. And especially once you have your first one, you don't recreate the wheel. You copy what you did, and then you tweak everything. And now you could keep having new ones with new content, but at least all the technology of how it's done is already done for you.
Yeah.
And I want to just throw in here because I know there's probably some brand new people. And we're using all these big words that you've never heard before. Lead magnet. So the idea is if you offer something for free from your website in exchange for them signing up for your newsletter and putting their email address in the little box that pops up, that is, you are giving them something that's attracting. So magnets attract. And that's you're attracting a lead, someone who's going to be on your email list. And so it's just it's industry lingo that is, I know sometimes people like scratch their head like, what is that about? So I just wanted to throw that out there. So Angela, how do I get people to go to my website?
Well, part of it is what we talked about as far as those shares where you're having other people share your information. Same thing with where you are sharing your content. I like for people to think about their website being the hub. So all the other things that you are doing are an extension of your website. And so what you're doing on social should eventually direct someone back into your website to connect and engage there or make a purchase or whatever it may be within your website. Whatever you're doing should end up directing people right back into there because it is that hub. And again, it's where you're going to be able to fully communicate. You have full control over what's on your website, and you have full control of being able to then email someone or communicate with them again if you want to. And so by enticing people with like those lead magnets or by sharing on socials, I will tell people when they are doing, let's say, a blog, that some people will come to me and they've already been blogging for a while, but on social media, like they will have their big posts on social media. And I'll tell them what you should do is take that same content and instead have the big content on your website, in your blog, and it's on the website. Then you go to that page on your website, you grab the link of that page, you go onto social media, and you're now sharing that page of your website with a little snippet and add in a little bit of a snippet of the blog post, not all of it, and make them go to the website to read the rest of the content and have a comment area even on there where they can also engage inside of there too. So I really recommend doing that where you're kind of teasing them, getting them back into the website, giving them little tasters on socials that are then getting back there because their time span or their attention when they're on social is not long. You want to bring them back over and get them engaged.
Good. So often as writers and speakers, we have an investment that we have to make into what we're doing. It costs money to market. It costs money to do all the things. And so there are times where we can create things to sell. So give us some points to consider when we decide to sell stuff, whether it's our book or another product or lead them to a course or whatever that looks like. What should we consider when we want to sell products on our website?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that in just one second because I had one other thought with the previous question that's a really important one for people.
Okay.
Guest blogging. Guest blogging. So partner, you have a community right now inside of this conference. Connect with each other and see who else has a blog and see if you could write a post for their website and they could write a post for yours. And then you're now going to be able to share that post with each other. And that's going to mean it's going to hit their socials as well. So guest blogging is a huge thing. I definitely recommend that for helping to get more people to your website. Okay, so you asked about the points to consider about if you should sell products on your website and deciding to sell. That's a great question. And I get that often. And it is something that you are spending all this money on your writing or your speaking and you want to have money coming back in. The big question is how many products are you planning to sell? And again, what is the bandwidth that you have that you feel okay with? So you want to be realistic of what it means to potentially sell products on your website. It's not just, oh, I have a store on my website and now everybody's going to come. They're not going to suddenly show up unless you are marketing it and telling people to go to your website. I mean, you need to be actively marketing yourself if you are going to have those products on there. And then you also want to be thinking about how many products are you going to have on your website? Because sometimes it's not cost effective to necessarily set up an entire store on your own website if you're only having one product that you're not even going to really actively try to market anyways. Then you're going to spend all the time and money in putting a store on the website, but you're not actually doing anything to make it be profitable. So that's something to consider. Also, if you're thinking that you might have some digital products and those types of things to be able to sell, that's going to also be helpful in order to have more products available. So now you're able to potentially get more return on that investment of actually having a store on your website.
So good. That's good advice, actually. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the easiest way to sell my book on my website?
Well, the absolute easiest way, not with the highest return on investment, but the absolute easiest way is to literally put a link to where your book is sold. So that would be literally like if you are a Redemption Press author, that definitely makes sense because you have a higher return on your investment, like of what you're actually getting back when something is sold directly through Redemption Press versus going to Amazon or Barnes and Noble or wherever else it may be sold. But if you do have the ability to actually put it directly on your website, then you have a few options on doing that. The second easiest way to do it is without doing a store, but actually just doing a product link. So that would be where you go into your payment processor, whether it's PayPal or Stripe or something like that, and you create a button inside of there. And then that button just gets embedded onto your website and literally everything's kind of going through that payment processor. It's pretty easy to do. It sounds technical, but it's really not. That's a pretty easy way to do it. The next step would be where you're actually creating a store. And that's where you might have the product on the website. And then on the website itself, it could be connected to the payment processor and it could be connected where they're able to check out through your website itself. So there's kind of the different levels and it depends on how much you're planning to sell on which makes the most sense.
Well, and the other thing that a lot of times we don't realize is on our website, and by the way, Angela and Journey redid my website and it's beautiful. And it was a wonderful experience. But the only place someone can get an autographed copy of your book is directly from you. So you can promote that on your website and say for an autographed copy, and then that way the order comes to you, you sign the book, personalize it to them, and ship it out.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point, Athena, because it's very true. And you can even have on the website, even an area for a note if you wanted to for that autograph copy also. So definitely that's a benefit for sure of being able to have it on your own website. And you also could sell it for a little bit more because it is on your website and you are getting, I mean, there's going to be the taxes and shipping that's on there and you're choosing the shipping price and all of those things. And so there's different points to consider and also different ways that you're actually able to save more money, like where you're actually getting more of that money back to you.
Right.
So I hear my husband in the other room because I don't charge shipping on my book, and he was just now humming in the other room. Like, I hear this. I hear what Angela's saying. So,
the thing is with that, Carol, is I understand there's something about being able to say, oh, it's free shipping or, oh, it's included. But also there is a cost to it. There is. And people do assume that there's going to be shipping. So for you to add in a little bit of a fee to cover yourself with that, people are not going to typically be like, oh my goodness, like this person is charging me for shipping for this book, so it's a little way for you to help to cover yourself even further.
Yeah. Very good. Oh, he just said yes.
So, you're Kelly's best friend.
All right. So now we're going to go to my son-in-law who does our website and get him to add some shipping. All right. So I think you answered the next question kind of. So I'll ask it. And then if we want to just go to the next one, we can. But what are other ways to sell my book and other products that give me the most profit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of what we discussed on there. The other thing I would say is potentially just where we talked about having additional products and those types of things where you could have more products on there. I know that I think it was BJ earlier that talked about going to when you're physically at places and being able to sell your books there. If you had additional products, say on your website, then if you had a book table somewhere, you may have a QR code that brings them back to your website, and you may have some downloadables for someone to also purchase, whether it's a study guide that goes along with your book, or maybe you do a companion product with Redemption Press, but one of those different things, but those different things that you have on your website, you could then sell them specifically as little upsells. There's also the ability on a website to do what's called a tripwire, where it kind of sounds cheesy, or not cheesy, but sleazy almost. I don't like the term tripwire, but that's what it's called. But it's basically where you have something that, let's say, is a free lead magnet, and they download that free thing. But then right after they subscribe to get the free thing, there's the next screen that comes up that says, hey, for right now, you can also get this at this discounted price. And they could actually purchase something at a lower price because they just engaged once, and it gives them that additional step. So add-on sales is a way that you can also really improve, whether it's with WordPress, we use a tool called Cart Flows often that allows you to have add-on products that are kind of advertised as someone is checking out. It shows those other things. And those are things that can definitely help to promote other sales of other products if you are selling multiple products.
Good.
Nice. So what are some tips for creating a visually appealing website that promotes engagement?
Yeah. So first you have to remember that your website is not about you. And it's not for you. It is for your audience. And so the website needs to be visually engaging and great for them. So it's not just about, oh, I like this color and I like this font. It's about your audience. And so it needs to be readable and easy for them to navigate on there. And so there's the use of white space, which is very important in design. And that's basically saying, and it doesn't have to physically be the color white. It could be black or green or whatever the background of your website is. It doesn't matter, but it means that it's space that is not occupied with other content on there. And so what's nice about having white space on there is it's helping someone to be able to look at your website and kind of navigate down the page, typically in this type of fashion. It's almost like a pinball type of thing where they're going down your page and you're showing them where to go next. So you're giving them either a picture and then some content and then a picture and a call to action that's on there, and making it be really soothing to look at, where it's not just a ton of content and they feel overwhelmed, or a ton of different color texts and things like that happen. Instead, you want it to have branding that flows through your website and on all your socials and everything. It needs to be consistent and flow together. So really that type of design, and remembering it is for your user. and not necessarily just for you and what you prefer.
Right. That's why it's so good.
Oh, sorry. I know we have one more question, but I want to just call to action for some of our newer folks. What would you describe? How would you describe a call to action?
So a call to action is any form of a button that is causing someone to engage on the website. So it is whether you're asking a question and you're having them subscribe, but it also could be something where it's actually they're on the website and you're having them navigate to another page. So you may have a little snippet on your homepage about you, where it then shows, like, don't give them all the information, have them click to engage, because that little button there is a call to action for them to step further, which is them stepping into the relationship with you. They're taking a step forward on that relationship, on that journey with you. And so when they click that button, that right there is a call to action in a different sort. The call to action could also be a purchase. It could be a product, to buy this product, to subscribe to this newsletter, to share this post. Those are all different forms of call to action, but a lot of people don't realize it even is the navigation that is also a form of a call to action as well.
Very nice. So you're asking somebody to do something instead of just giving them all this information. You're asking them to engage, and that's
people like to be able to engage. They don't want to just be force fed, because then they're just going to glaze over everything. But if they're feeling like they're getting a choice to click something and actually engage the website, it helps them to have more an investment in this relationship with you.
Nice. Thank you.
Good. And when you were talking about the way the website looks and white space and all of that, I think that's why it's so important to work with someone like Journey Websites, because you have another person's eye on it that knows what websites should look like. Because some of us have ideas that we think look really good and they don't look really good. And so having that person play off of is so good. Because we've all gone to websites that are just bad. I'm just saying, right?
We all start somewhere, though. We all start somewhere. I will even say I'm a web designer, and my first website, oh my, it was not good. So yeah, we all start somewhere.
Yeah, I had no white space on my website. My first one, for sure. So I love this question, because I think we all love this question anytime it's asked of any kind of topic. What are the common mistakes that writers and speakers should avoid when building their website?
Okay, so there's a few different ones that immediately come to my mind as some of those common mistakes. And one of them is even for the person starting out. So we started this talking about when someone's first starting. One of the common mistakes I have for that type of person is they think they have to have it all perfect in order to have anything live. And that's not the case. So going for perfection, I will guarantee that anyone's website that's out there did not start where it evolved to. If you're looking at a website and you're like, oh, I love this website, it did not start like that. So remember that your website's on a journey, and it's okay to have what you have to start and keep moving it forward. Always being intentional to be refreshing your website continuously, not letting it just be static and just sit there forever. We talked a little bit about the color and the white space and those things of just all the cluttered stuff or too many things moving and flying everywhere. The other things that I'll say is that a website not being designed for responsiveness, which is mobile devices. Responsiveness, if you hear that term ever, it means that a website is responding to the device that it's on. So if I'm on my big computer right now and I view a website, it's going to look very different than it looks like when it's on my phone. And a website should be designed with the intent of it looking great on all devices. And so not testing it on all the different devices and just assuming that it's going to look good is a problem that I've seen a lot of people do. And some people will, they know so many people are just using mobile devices now that they will only design for mobile, and their website looks horrible on a computer. Not everyone only uses phones. So it's important to look at the spectrum and make sure that it is looking good for all of those devices. The other thing is like poor quality visuals. So you'll see, let's say that someone adds photos to their website, and a big thing that I've noticed is one of two ends of that spectrum. Either they add in ginormous image files, which look beautiful. So they're very crisp and clear to the eye, but you'll notice that they have very large files because their website is very slow. When it loads, you're like, da, 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 like, oh, there it is. Like, I just thought I like transported back to 1990. Okay. So it's really important to have those visuals that are really good and crisp and clear, but also where they are sized correctly and not going to slow down the website, as well as not being all pixelated where they just look really scratchy and just not appealing to the eye to even look at either. So those are some of the big ones, like even that page speed aspect. Not having the clear call to actions is typically another one that I see. So there are definitely some things that can happen. And what I recommend to help with that is if you have a friend or someone else, or go to a coffee shop and just be like, hey, random stranger, if I buy you a cup of coffee, will you view my website and give me feedback? Tell me what you think, and watch them do it. Just watch them. Just see what they do. They grab their phone or they grab their computer and they go through the website, and you could tell them a specific call to action. So you could say, I just want you to go to my website and see if you could purchase my book. Now you also started a conversation with this random stranger about your book too. So that's cool. But also you get feedback because you're watching how they go through your website, and you're going to know pretty quickly, oh, wow, they have no idea how to navigate my website. So those are some tips that you can also do to be able to help with that, to make sure that you're not falling into those mistakes that a lot of people will fall into.
So good. Look, Angela, we have a bunch of people that have asked really good questions. So if it's okay, would you mind going into the Facebook group and answering them there?
Yes.
Then that way we can get them. Otherwise, we've only got time for 1 or 2 questions, and there's definitely more than that.
Yeah.
But this has been so good.
Absolutely.
Well, I love your. I was just going to say, I love what you said, your website's on a journey, and you are journey websites, because you're going to take their website on a journey, and you can link to Angela and find out more about her in the conference book, and just click that website page and you can set up a time. We at Redemption Press partner with Journey Websites, so you can connect with us and we'll connect you to Angela, because a lot of our authors do go through us, and Angela and her team do a phenomenal job for them, and they do our Redemption Press website, and they are there anytime we need them.
Well, we love being able to help you. We love being able to help the authors. I saw many of our clients and Journey family basically all in the chat during this, and I'll definitely go in. I'll answer those comments and questions. And I know I mentioned this to Carol before as well, but I'm happy to look at anyone's website and do a free audit of your existing website and give you that feedback, or do a free consult with you. And so I'll drop the link for our consult form, and you guys can reach out to us and be able to connect, and we can look at your website or give any tips and feedback on where to go on your journey next.
Nice. Awesome. Call to action. There you go. Love it. Thank you so much, Angela.
Thanks again for having me.
Oh, you bet. Our joy.
All right. I loved when she said to go to Starbucks and just ask a complete stranger, look at my site. How perfect. Because you know you're going to get an honest feedback.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very
For
good.
sure.
Good stuff.
So we are getting to the end of our night.
Yes. All right. And so we are actually 3 minutes over because the Zoom Connects were supposed to start 3 minutes ago. So as soon as we're done here, y'all, for the deluxe and the premium, hop on over. And we've already talked about it quite a bit tonight, but y'all, even if you're an introvert, I know it'll be harder for you, but like, do it afraid. Just go in there, because you are going to be loved. You are going to be embraced, welcomed, and you will find your new tribe, all right, who are going to support you and love you, and just some connections that might just surprise you. So the links have already been emailed to you. They're also in your book. Again, this is for the deluxe and the premium. And so it's tonight, right now. And then tomorrow morning, what am I right?
Well, we have to give away 3 books before we let them go.
Okay, yes, so don't go yet. All right, because we're going to give away 3 books. Let me say it real quickly. So tonight, and if it's too late for you on the East Coast, because I'm on the East Coast and I'm a little tired, so I understand. But if it's too late and you would rather just wait till morning, We also have it in the morning, and it is at 7. It's at what's tomorrow morning? 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time for tomorrow morning's Connect groups. Okay. Hopefully you can do both, but at least do one or the other. Let's give away some books.
All right. How are we choosing names? Because I have 3 giveaways. All right. Our first one is going to win More Than Just a Word, your Word of the Year journal, which is another one of Carol's brainchildren, something like that. I'm not sure I got the right word, but she came up with this, and it is amazing. For those of you who like to pick a word of the year and have the Lord send you in a direction with a specific word, this keeps you in that word all year long, and it is amazing. Okay, who wins?
All right, the winner is Liz Holtzman.
Liz,
yay!
Oh, how fun. All right, the next one is, this book flies off our shelves. Get Organized God's Way, which tells you we're all not very organized. So we all need this. And it is, the subtitle is Bring God's Order into Every Area of Your Life by Eileen Koff.
Ooh, so good. And the winner is Erin Hedis. Hedis? Erin Hedis?
How do you spell it?
Oh, Geddes. It's a Geddes.
Oh, Erin Geddes. Yay!
There you go. Yay.
I saw her make a comment there, so I know she's here.
Yay.
And the last one is our very own Finding God in Suffering. It is a devotional journal with excerpts from Streams in the Desert, focusing on Psalms. And it is a 31-day devotional journal. This is amazing.
All right, we're ready. The winner is Penny Wiggs.
Penny Wiggs. Woo!
Honey.
As
Honey
in
with
honey.
an H.
Honey.
Like
Honey.
Like
honey.
Like sugar. Honey.
All right. Honey Wiggs, you won. All right. So all 3 of you need to make sure you give us your address where we can mail these to. And how are we doing that, Shelley?
You can either email, because you probably have our email address, because we've been emailing you like crazy, or you can private message me, Shelley Brown, and friend me on Facebook. If I'm not your friend, I'd love to be your friend. So message me.
All right.
Your mailing address.
And I apologize to Erin, but the way that it was written didn't have a G. It was like a something. So sorry, Erin. In the feed, she's telling me how to say your name. I will get it right next time.
Oh, we always butcher people's names, so it's not intentional.
Not at all. All right. So we're going to close out tonight before you go to your Connect group. But thank you for being here. I hope you were encouraged. We're looking forward to tomorrow morning. We'll begin again live here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. You figure out the stuff in the middle, and we will have a great time together. Shannon Popkin is going to be our keynoter tomorrow morning. Love her, and it's going to be good. So let me pray for us, and we will take off. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the opportunity we had to be together on screen all over the country, all over the world, Father, and you have brought us together to market our message for you. Would you just continue to equip us and encourage us? Bless the women and the men that are here. Would you give them the courage to take their next step? We love you so much. Thank you for Jesus. Amen.
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 Amen. Enjoy Connect groups.
Yes.
See you. Bye, everyone.